How much food do you think the average American family wastes each day? Would it be enough to feed an extra person at the dinner table? Two people? Studies show that anywhere from 25 to 50% of food produced in the United States gets wasted each year, according to a New York Times article From Farm to Fridge to Garbage Can by Tara Parker Pope in November 2010. Now look at these figures in comparison with statistics about hunger in the United States. The USDA's 2012 report on food security showed that 14.9% of all households in the United States were food insecure in 2011. Food insecure, what does that mean? It means that the food intake of one or more household members was reduced and their eating patterns were disrupted at times during the year because they lacked money or other resources to obtain food. So clearly there's a paradox here. There is much food being wasted, yet so many people are going hungry. It seems like an obvious problem to fix, but this country has struggled with the conundrum of food waste versus hunger for decades. The good thing is that there are concrete actions all of us can take to help solve this problem in our own communities and even across the nation. First, let's take a look at how significant and widespread these two issues are, which will help us understand how we can begin to tackle these problems head on. How many of you have ever been to a large sports stadium? Well, would you believe that if I told you every day America wastes enough food to fill the Rose Bowl sports stadium? Well, it sounds unbelievable, but sadly, this is a fact. According to Jonathan Bloom's June 2012 article in the Washington Post. Bloom is also the author of American Wasteland and has written about food waste for the Los Angeles Times and Mother Jones. Now, who do you suppose contributes to this massive waste? There are a few main contributors: restaurants, grocery stores, producers, packagers, and our very own homes. According to Bloom in his November 2007 article on Culinate.com, every day restaurants in America throw away as much as 6,000 tons of uneaten food, waste from diners or food that can't be reused. Now, a lot of this waste has to do with use-by dates stamped on foods. Now, sanitation laws are definitely necessary, but use-by dates are just suggestions, and very often the food is still good and safely consumable after that date. Unfortunately, grocery stores exercise this practice too. Instead of discounting products at their expiration date, they throw out their food in order to maintain the image of selling only the freshest products. Producers and packagers of food also dispose of perfectly usable food products before the expiration dates. Now, this happens most often in produce. Often companies ship produce across the country and are concerned it won't get from their production plant to the store before the expiration date, so they throw it away instead. Sadly, we've been conditioned to follow the same practice in our homes. Bloom explains in his 2009 article on Culinate.com that when we see use by, sell by, best before, or use or freeze by, we assume these terms mean toss by. He explains that expiration dates are conservative and factor in worst-case scenarios, such as a truck's refrigeration unit malfunctioning or goods lingering on a loading dock on a hot day. But most food is consumable for a week and sometimes longer after the use-by date. Although all of this consumable food is being wasted, there is still a significant number of Americans going hungry each day. Economies can ebb and flow, but the problem has always been there. Not surprisingly, poverty is the overwhelming reason for a lack of food in the household. According to the USDA's 2012 report on food insecurity, 14.9% of all American households were considered food insecure during 2011, and 38% of those households had very low food security, meaning that they answered the survey indicating that they experienced 8 or more food insecure conditions in the past year. And 21% of those reporting very low food security also reported that at least one adult in the household had not eaten for a whole day or more, at least 3 or more times in the past year, due to a lack of food availability. Now, with a better understanding of food waste, food insecurity, and their relationship, what do you suppose we can do to help alleviate these problems? One of the easiest ways is to start in your own home. Small changes in your eating and shopping habits can reduce food waste. In a U.S. News and World Report article from May 2008, Bloom offers a number of ways that you can reduce your own food waste. Plan meals ahead and make a detailed shopping list. Avoid bargains that will make you buy more than you actually will use. Use your leftovers. Be creative by reusing foods and making new recipes and combinations. Consider composting produce and food scraps. Ask grocery stores and restaurants to be accountable. Ask what they do with their own leftovers and expired items. Your questions can spark action. Suggest a partnership with food banks or shelters. Grocery stores and restaurants might not know about these opportunities, and they can be very willing to form such partnerships. Donate food items if you won't use them yourself. Only usable items, of course. Donating your time or money helps also. If you have children, involve them in all of these efforts. They are the generation that will improve upon what we begin now. On a larger scale, you can advocate and lobby for your local, state, or federal government officials. You can start a food drive in your community or educate others by demonstrating how they can avoid wasting food, or by giving a speech at a community meeting. As you can see, there is a lot we can all do on a local or larger scale to alleviate these problems. The most important thing to remember is that you can make an impact. Today you've learned about food waste and food insecurity and the relationships between them. More importantly, you've heard a number of ways you can help solve these problems. Reducing food waste and ensuring that consumable food gets to those in need are 2 simple ways that you can directly affect these global issues. If we all consider creative ways to equalize these imbalances, we can begin to make a change. I started by asking if anyone knew how much food is wasted each day by the average American family. If that amount could feed 1 or 2 additional people at the dinner table. In reality, that number is actually 3 or 4. Remember, you can help improve this problem. You can pledge to be more aware of your food waste each day and improve shopping and cooking habits. Perhaps you can even get involved in a community food drive or talk to your colleagues or your children's school about reducing waste. You can make a difference. If we all do a little more to reduce waste, we can truly abide by the adage, waste not, want not.